Oh, friends. Sometimes a headline feels loud and shiny, built to make you click before you've even taken a sip of coffee. At 61, HodaKotb finally tells the truth about Savannah Guthrie sounds exactly like that kind of hook. And yes, it pulled people in fast. But underneath the noise, something more human unfolded. This wasn't a tabloid ambush or a rating stunt. It was a moment. Raw, imperfect, and deeply personal, between two women who have shared more than a morning news desk. With Savannah absent from Today, while her family faces a private crisis, viewers felt the shift immediately. The couch looked the same. The lights were just as bright, but something was missing. When Hoda returned for a guest appearance, what she offered wasn't scandal. It was context. And maybe for the first time, vulnerability without polish. A room that felt different. It was early February inside Studio 1A, the familiar home of the Today. The scent of coffee and hairspray hung in the air, but there was a quiet weight behind the usual rhythm. HodaKotb, 61, walked in with her signature warmth, though those watching closely noticed a softness in her expression. She hasn't been a full-time fixture since stepping back to focus on her daughters and new projects, yet she still belongs to that space. Across the country, viewers have been concerned about Savannah Guthrie, who has been away from the desk as her family navigates a painful chapter. Hoda began simply, speaking about strength and love. The crew listened quietly. Then she leaned forward and said she had never fully shared the story of a night years ago when she and Savannah carried each other through something deeply personal. Hoda's long road to that couch. To understand why her words carried weight, you have to understand Hoda's journey. Born in Oklahoma to Egyptian immigrant parents, she grew up moving between cultures, learning resilience early. Her career was built the old-fashioned way. Small markets, long nights, relentless curiosity. She reported from disaster zones, covered wars, and stood steady during national tragedies. Years later, she would publicly share her battle with breast cancer, a moment that reshaped not only her body, but her outlook. She became an advocate for health awareness and second chances, proving that vulnerability could coexist with strength. By the time she co-anchored Today, audiences saw her as a steady presence, joyful, empathetic, grounded. So when she spoke about Savannah, it wasn't gossip. It was someone who has survived her own storms, recognizing another woman weathering one now. Savannah's parallel climb. Savannah's path looked different, but required equal grit. Born in Australia and raised largely in Arizona, she excelled academically before pursuing journalism. Her legal training sharpened her analytical edge, and that edge became visible when she covered high-stakes political stories and national events. When she stepped into the main anchor role on Today, she brought precision and calm authority. But off-camera, like many working parents, she balanced ambition with motherhood and personal trials, including fertility challenges she has spoken about with careful honesty. Over time, viewers came to know her as composed, sometimes intensely so. That composure is part personality, part professional discipline. It's also why Hoda's recollection of a private moment years ago felt so revealing. It suggested that behind the steady delivery was someone who once allowed herself to unravel in a safe room with a trusted friend. The night that changed. Their bond. Hoda described a late evening years earlier, long after the cameras had shut off and makeup lights dimmed. The newsroom had been heavy with tension following industry scandals and personal pressures. Savannah, usually composed, felt overwhelmed. Hoda admitted she had been carrying her own quiet doubts at the time, about motherhood, about belonging, about whether she could keep giving so much of herself publicly. They sat together in the green room. No audience, no teleprompter. Hoda said they made a quiet promise that night. Honesty without judgment. Not the curated honesty of television, but the kind that allows tears and silence. That was the truth she referred to on air. Not betrayal or buried drama, but the truth that even strong women sometimes break in private before rebuilding stronger. It was a story about sisterhood, not scandal. Why share it now? Timing is everything in television, but timing is also emotional. With Savannah absent and viewers concerned, Hoda's story served as reassurance. It told the audience, the strength you see has roots. It grows from moments when these women have leaned on each other before. Hoda didn't reveal secrets about family matters or speculate about ongoing challenges. Instead, she reminded viewers that resilience is rarely solitary. Her message was subtle. Savannah has faced difficult chapters before and did not face them alone. That matters now. The public sometimes demands transparency from public figures, forgetting they are entitled to privacy. Hoda walked a careful line, offering depth without exposure. She spoke about love, loyalty, and shared history, not private details. The bombshell wasn't explosive. It was human. Friendship beyond the headlines. Their partnership has always worked because of contrast. Hoda's warmth balances Savannah's precision. Over the years, viewers watched them navigate elections, pandemics, cultural shifts, and countless live moments that demanded quick thinking. Off-camera, they attended each other's milestone events and celebrated family expansions. Hoda's journey into adoption and Savannah's experiences with motherhood unfolded in overlapping seasons of hope and uncertainty. Like many close friendships, theirs likely included moments of envy, misunderstanding, and reconciliation. That's natural. What has endured is mutual respect. Hoda's story highlighted that endurance. It suggested that what viewers see on morning television is built on real trust, on nights when conversations ran long and honesty felt risky but necessary. That's not manufactured chemistry. It's lived experience. Strength, redefined at 61. At 61, Hoda stands in a new chapter. She's expanding her podcast work, writing, mentoring, and focusing on her daughters. Her life no longer revolves around 4 a.m. alarms, yet she remains deeply connected to the show that defined a decade of her career. Speaking openly about that formative night wasn't about nostalgia, it was about perspective. With age often comes clarity. Hoda has survived illness, career upheaval, and public scrutiny. She understands that vulnerability does not weaken credibility, it deepens it. In sharing her memory, she subtly challenged the narrative that women in high-profile roles must appear invincible. Instead, she offered a different model. Strength can coexist with softness. That reframing felt especially poignant while Savannah faces a period that requires both resolve and grace. The public reaction. Unsurprisingly, social media reacted quickly. Clips circulated with captions declaring hidden truths revealed. Some viewers felt comforted, grateful for the reminder of authentic friendship. Others speculated unnecessarily, searching for drama where none was explicitly offered. That's the paradox of modern media. Intimate stories spread at lightning speed, sometimes losing nuance along the way. Yet many longtime fans recognised the tone. This wasn't a ratings ploy. It was a colleague honouring another colleague during absence. In a landscape crowded with noise, sincerity can feel almost radical. The segment sparked conversations about female friendship, about ageing in public life, about how we measure strength. For every sensational headline, there were quiet comments from viewers who simply said, "We're rooting for them." Looking ahead with grace. As the show continues and Savannah prepares to return when ready, Hoda's words linger. They serve as a reminder that public figures carry private histories that shape how they respond to hardship. The real takeaway isn't about secrets revealed. It's about solidarity expressed. Morning television has long been built on familiarity. Faces that greet us daily, voices that narrate our headlines. When one of those voices pauses, we feel it. Hoda stepped in not to replace but to remind. Whatever unfolds next, their story is less about dramatic revelations and more about enduring connection. And maybe that's the deeper truth at 61. Friendship, when tested by time and trials, becomes less about sparkle and more about steady presence. In a world hungry for spectacle, that kind of loyalty feels quietly powerful.